My brothers and sisters, you are now watching the Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need! And I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so, bruh, brace with me in this video, cause I ain't got no script. I just go in my reviews raw. I talk about the stuff I like, talk about the stuff I didn't like. Brace with me on this one. So, my Twitch crowd knows. A few days ago, I beat Last of Us Part 2, and wanted to sit on it for a couple of days just to digest everything, that went on in that game, that part, that right. So I wanted to sit on it for a few days, to get my thoughts together and stuff like that. But again, a shout out to all of the people that was coming through my streams, watching my first playthrough of Last of Us Part 2. I will be uploading my archives to YouTube. Just give me a little bit of time for that, because I know some YouTube people want to see, they want to see my playthrough as well. But yes, man, Last of Us Part Dos. Yeah, right, Dos. My Spanish is just horrible. But yeah, so Last of Us Part 2, this was a highly anticipated game. You guys know the deal. This game had, because of the leaks and just the horrible rollout leading up into this game had a lot of hate. A lot of people are still hating on the game. And let me just say it like this. I don't have a problem with people hating on this game if you have played it. But there are a lot of people who haven't played this game, haven't seen a single cutscene, haven't actually seen how the gameplay is, have no intention on buying the game, and is saying this game is trash. To those suckers, know the role and shut the mouth. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're literal sheep, just following, oh yeah, he said this game's trash. So they just follow what other people are saying. It's just like, bro, just shut up. But for the people that, aren't really, I guess fans of this franchise and are, watching their favorite YouTubers or streamers playing it, and then, through that they're saying, hey, this game is not for me. That's cool, whatever, but, and yeah, I finally died, because I remember when I beat it on stream, like, people was asking me, so what score would you give it? And I'm like, I got nothing. I literally got nothing, dog. I needed a few days to really digest all of that, but I think I'm ready now. So, Last of Us Part 2, I have had people emailing me saying, bro, I'm not getting this game. And I'm just like, really? I've literally had emails saying, bro, I'm not getting this game until you review it. I need to see what you say, so here goes, Last of Us Part 2. This will be my review. Is it worth the 60 bones?
I know you wish things were different. I wish things were different.
Okay, so, Jesus, where do I even begin? I said the same thing when I beat this game on stream. I'm like, bro, I don't even know where to start with this game, So Last of Us 2, let me talk about the things that I liked first, okay? I'm just looking at a couple of notes that I got on my phone. The stuff that I like first. Let's begin with that. The graphic. Oh my god, the graphics in this game are probably easily, this has to be a top 3 looking game on PS4 this gen. Has to be. I think it looks better. I think it looks slightly better than God of War. I think it looks better than Red Dead Redemption 2. I think it looks better than Uncharted 4. Like, damn near every PlayStation 4 exclusive that I've played this generation, Last of Us 2, you know, it might not be like a huge leap in graphics, but it exceeds almost every game that I can think of that has come out this generation on PlayStation 4. And it should be like that because, you know, we're winding down towards the end of PS4. The games that are coming out now, especially the, you know, PS4 exclusives, they should look the best, you know. So Last of Us 2 graphically, my god, dog, like there's so much vegetation in this game that, like, I kept making the joke, like, Naughty Dog, how much vegetation do you want in your game? Yes. Like, there is so much, like, just seeing nature overtake all of these environments. There's so much grass and vegetation, the lighting, I mean, the trees, the way the sun is, you know, beaming through the tree. Bro, graphically, this is probably the best, overall, the best looking PS4 game that I've seen this generation. This game looks amazing, okay? The OST, my Twitch crowd knows I am a sucker for a game that has good music. If your game has good music and the gameplay is good, it takes your game to the next level, because I appreciate good game OSTs so much. The OST in this game is so dark, but they like play it just subtly in the background while you're playing the game, and just the way it just meshes in with the gameplay and how dark this game is, bro. I was and of course, when the game is not so dark, Gustavo works his magic once again, you know, with his you know, his, you know, great work that he did on the first Last of Us. This game just has really good music. Like, it just meshes so well with what's going on in this game. Again, my Twitch crowd knows how much I can appreciate a good OST. That's why for me, Nier is one of my favorite games this gen, because the OST in Nier Automata, whew, God tier. I love how they expanded the world of Last of Us. I love how, you know, this is not an open world game by no means, but it is expanded. It is a little bit more open. There is a lot more exploration to do and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things going on in this story that, you know, was not in, you know, part 1. They have a lot of different groups in this game, you know, that have their own set of ideals and just the way they look at the world and stuff like that, and how they go about doing things. I love the new characters. I actually really liked, I want to say really liked, but I actually did like Dina, you know, Ellie's girlfriend. She's actually not that bad of a character, you know, for the majority of the game, you know. But Jesse, the Asian, I really liked his character. I thought he was solid. I like what they did with him. Owen was a good character. Even, you know, the character that's catching, you know, the most heat, Abby. At first, of course, and again, this character is catching a lot of heat, but again, I'm speaking from the experience that I had with the game. After a while, I did like Abby. I don't think she's the greatest character, but if you played that game and you didn't, you know, let the outside voice and you didn't let the outside voices, what everyone else is saying, you know, dictate your opinion on the game, you could not have played the entirety of Last of Us Part 2 and at the end said Abby was not a good character. I liked Abby. Abby, to me, you know, was a solid character. I so liked how they told her story. But yeah, towards the end, I was like rooting for her. I did think that they could have did a little bit more with, you know, a few characters. For instance, and this is not spoilers because they showed it in the trailer, but you know, the two little kids, Lev, which is the transgender character, and I think the girl's name was Yora or something close to that. You know, those weren't bad characters neither, but I just felt like they could have did more of those characters, especially because they came from, you know, this certain group. I thought that they could have gave like more insight on, you know, just, you know, their beliefs and like why they do the things that they do. But a lot of times those characters, you know, didn't really, you know, talk as much as you would have hoped, you know, but you do learn more about them, you know, as, you know, they're alongside you, stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't think those characters were bad. I just thought they could have did more with them. But yeah, outside of that, you know, how they expanded the world of Last of Us and made it more open, have you know, a whole bunch of different characters in this game and new groups, the OST, the graphics, like everything in this game from that standpoint I loved. Let me talk about what I loved the most in this game. Probably the thing that carried this game for me, and I predicted this. That gameplay. The gameplay in this game, dog. Easily what carries this game. Easily. It's not even a question. It's really not. The gameplay carries this game. Even when you're really not feeling what's going on in the story for whatever reason, the gameplay is what keeps you engaged. Let me just say this. That's where all the crunch hours went. And I didn't think that the gameplay was bad in, you know, 1, you know, but people had their complaints about how the gameplay was in 1, how the AI, you know, was iffy a lot of times. I thought it was more so iffy towards your partner, you know, and how they reacted to like your partner and stuff like that. But, you know, the melee system, you know, being kind of scuffed, whatever, you know. Last was 1, I liked the gameplay in that, but it's easy to see the improve. It just feels so much more refined in this game. Like, I love what they did with the infected. It's the same, like the infected are the same. Like, they still have the runners in the game, of course. They have the clickers, the stalkers, the bloaters, stuff like that, and a few new infected. You know, but for the infected that we were used to seeing in 1, they're still there. But it's like they revamped every single one of those infected. The runners, how, you know, you wasn't really scared of the runners in part 1, but the runners into, oh, they're literally like, I was saying, they're literally like World War Z type zombies now. Like, the runners are so much more aggressive. If you have multiple in a room and they're like remember if you have multiple runners in part 1, like, you know, depending on which difficulty you was playing on, like yeah, you still had to, you know, take out one at a time and stuff like that, but you wasn't really like man, these are just runners, light work, easy work. In this game, if you have multiple runners running at you, suck it, you better do what they're called, run. Because the runners in this game are so much more, they're just relentless, they're aggressive, they do not stop. Like, they just constantly charge you. I love what they did with the runners. They just feel so much more like threatening now. Love what they did with the runners. The stalkers, you know, the stalkers, just in case you guys don't remember, is the infected that, you know, kind of hide behind corners and then like wait for you, and like these suckers be like so the stalkers, I love what they did with the stalkers. Like, and when they're like hiding, like they run on all fours like freaking apes or something. Like, they're literally running on all fours, but then as soon as they like pop out, then they start to run, you know, at at you on a 2 feet. When like you try to attack them, sometimes they literally duck your attacks. Like I literally tried to like swing a bat at like one of the stalkers, and the sucker literally ducked and grabbed me, and I'm like, what the like what the hell is going on right now? I love what they did with the stalkers. The clickers, I feel like the clickers is the only infected that kind of didn't really change too much. You know, again, we all know how the clickers get down. They're blind, but they click, you know, to use echolocation to find where you are. So, you know, if you're making noise and stuff like that, and the clicker is nearby, sucker run. You know, but it's pretty much the same in this game, but again, maybe it's only on Survivor, but what I noticed was in this game that the clickers, they're like way more sensitive to sound now. Like you could be moving slowly past a clicker, but like if you even nudge into something, like the clicker just goes like like they just go crazy. It seems like their hearing is just much more sensitive in this game, so like you really have to be like slow and quiet, so it still makes it tense and stuff like that. But I kind of felt like in a way they got nerfed, because in Last of Us 1 you had to, you know, the only way to really take out a clicker like quickly is if you know, had a shiv on you, you know, so you would craft a shiv, whatever, and then, you know, sneak up on a clicker and then shiv them, and it's a one-hit kill. In this game, if you're playing with Ellie, like Ellie has a switchblade on her at all times, so all you have to do is just sneak up on a clicker, and it's like you have like an infinite amount of shivs because Ellie has, you know, that knife that she always carries on her. So it kind of took that like, oh snap, I don't have the I don't have the equipment right now to deal with clickers kind of out of the scenario, because just Ellie always had that knife on her. But the clickers are still, you know, intense, you know, when, you know, things get quiet and you see multiple clickers, you still do feel that you know, that intensity. The bloaters. The bloaters are easily, I thought like this game was gonna, you know, kind of, yeah, the bloaters were like a thing, but now we have this new infected that like makes the bloater, you know, that makes the bloater look like nothing. The bloaters in this game. Now again, the bloaters in the Last of Us Part 1 was the last form, you know, that's when they would get all like big and like a tank, and like they would throw like the spores, you know, when they weren't close to you in it. But if you was close, they would like charge you, and if they charge you, they would literally like grab your head and like like freaking rip your whole head off. The bloaters in this game, my God. The first bloater encounter in this game, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say what's happening in the game at that point. But the people that played this game know what I'm talking about. The first bloater encounter in this game, it shows you like, oh snap. The bloaters are nothing to be messed. You thought the bloaters was bad in 1? You know, remember when you was in high school, you know, in the high school section with a Bill, and then the first bloater like comes out of the thing, and like you have to take out the bloater. If you thought the bloaters were bad in 1, the bloaters in this game, I literally like call them infected Banes. Like, you remember the Bane boss fights in like the Batman Arkham series, and like this sucker is just busting through walls and stuff, bro. The bloaters in this, I love how Naughty Dog did them, bro. Again, that first encounter, it is so unexpected, but when it's going on, you're like, holy shit. I literally was like, holy shit, I can't take this right now. They're literally busting through walls, like tossing stuff out the way, and these suckers are quick. They're like, bloaters are quick, but they're literally like a bull in a china shop. and it's just like they're constantly charging. You get behind like a freaking wall. They literally plow through the wall. Like, it was crazy. When I was playing that part on stream, I literally fell out of my chair because this thing literally just like busted through a wall charging at me, and I'm like, holy shit. Damn! Go through! Oh my Jesus! Oh. I cannot stress enough what Naughty Dog did with the infected that was in part 1 and how they like revamped them in this game to make almost every single one of them feel even more threatening. Dog, especially the bloaters, dog. Oh my, like the bloaters feel like boss fights now. The bloaters feel like they didn't really feel like, you know, really going against no infected in 1 felt like a boss fight. The bloaters in this game feel like mini boss battles. The melee combat feels way better. It feels just way more like brutal and ruthless. I love the whole dodge mechanic that they put in this game to where like if infected is like, you know, trying to like grab you, or, you know, a human is trying to like, you know, hit you with a bat or a machete, whatever, like you if you time the dodge right, you know, we all seen it in the trailers, you know, where like someone is trying to, I think, shoot Ellie with like a crossbow, and she literally like is like Ultra Instinct Goku. If you time the dodges, you can like literally dodge all of their attacks, but if you spam it, you can get, you know, punished for that. So you have to time when like when the enemy is about to hit you with the dodge. So I love the way that they did that. It's rewarding, but at the same time, if you punish that button, you know, and like you're just spamming and you're just spamming dodge, like you will get punished for that. So I love that. The stealth in this game feels so much more rewarding. Again, I played on Survivor, so I can't really say how it is on, you know, on the easier difficulties. I thought Survivor was going to be a joke in this game because before this game came out, I'm like, what? They ain't gonna have no grounded difficulty in this game. They freaking had it in part 1. Why would they not have, you know, grounded in part 2? And then they didn't have no difficulty trophies. I'm like, bro, I hope they ain't gonna casualize Last of Us 2 just to get, you know, more sales. I'm like, bro, they gonna casualize this junk. No. If you play on Survivor, like, it's actually hard to stealth certain sections, which is why, you know, when the people that was watching my playthrough on Twitch, I was getting caught a lot. And I was like I was trying to play stealthy, like, but I would like it's like the sight of the enemies when you're playing on Survivor. Like, even if you're not fully, like, there were times where I'm getting caught and I'm like, yo, how do they see me like that? There were a lot of times in this game where I'm in cover, but it's like, if you don't get there instantly, like, the second an enemy turns around, like, say if you're like behind a freaking desk or whatever, and then the AI turns around, you could duck, but it's like they'll check right where they thought they saw something. It doesn't really work like that, if you guys understand what I'm saying. It doesn't really work like that normally. In most cases, if you get out of their sight within the first second or two, like, they won't see you. In this game, if they even think that they saw you, at least on Survivor difficulty, they'll go to where you are, and then like the other people will kind of, you know, start to fall. It's just weird. Like, I was like, bro, it's actually hard to, like, you know, fool the AI. And I love that about, now I was dying a lot on certain parts in this game, but I love that about the game, because that was a big, you know, thing, you know, that people said that The Last of Us 1 was, kind of guilty of, like, the AI was just easy, was just easy to, fool. In this game, at least on Survivor, again, I cannot speak for, the hard mode and, the other modes out there. On Survivor, oh, no. They make you, like, you have to play this junk like Solid Snake, like Sam Fisher, Splinter Cell. Like, you really have to stealth. And when you are doing stealth right, and the AI is not seeing you, that jump feels so rewarding, dog. It feels so rewarding, like, knowing how smart the AI is when it comes to, you trying to play stealthy. And when you actually are doing it and not getting spotted, that jump feels beautiful, dog. It feels beautiful. The stealth feels so rewarding. So, again, I cannot stress enough. The gameplay mechanics, just the way the gameplay is, it carries this game. Carries. Okay. Now this is where the game I get to hate. Now again, for the first, the first half of the game, I was like, bro, people are literally like just hating for whatever reason. Stuff happens and like early in the game. I'm like, what the frick? I thought when I saw this leak, it was gonna be like later in the game. Like, stuff happens early into this game, and I thought, people was letting like that small segment like ruin the entire game for them. I'm like, but I'm like, sucker. This whole first half, I wasn't the biggest fan of certain things in this game neither. But the first half of this game, I'm like, bro, this story is not bad at all. I was actually really, for the most part, enjoying the story. I'm like, bro, people are literally just mad for the sake of being mad. You cannot tell me this story is bad. I was really enjoying the first half of this game. But then the second half. The second half comes, and it's just like, why are they doing this? Like, why are they doing this? The way that this story is put together, and this is probably my main complaint. Now, this was going on in the first half, but I could still kind of deal with it because the pacing wasn't, that bad at that time. And that's one of the biggest complaints that you'll hear from most people in this game. It's the pacing of, how the story is put together. The second half for this game is when I started to kind of turn in like a different direction. I'm like, yo, who thought this was a good idea? They have so many flashbacks in this game. And it's not even necessarily that I have a problem with flashbacks. Like, flashbacks done right don't bother me at all. Like in freaking Avengers Endgame, we was dealing with flashbacks in that movie, but the way they was doing the flashbacks and then, have it tie into like what was happening in like the present day, it was cool. Like I don't really have a problem with flashbacks if they're done right. But in this game, especially in the second half, they are done so often and so like like, for instance, there'll be a huge moment that happens in like the game in like the present day, and then they'll like do a flashback, right? It's like cliffhanger flashbacks, if that makes sense. Like, something huge will happen in the game in like the present day, and then they'll flashback before you can even see how that scene plays out. So it's like cliffhanger flashbacks. And it's like they do that so frequently in this game that it literally gets tiring. It's like, bro, can I just see how a scene plays out for once, Naughty Dog? Please, Neil? Like, whose idea was it? Like, that's honestly what was bothering me the most in this game. This game has flashbacks on top of flashbacks. And I'm just like, whose idea was this? Like, why? Why are they doing this, bro? Like, again, a huge moment would happen, and then it'll, like, cut to black. And then it'll say 4 years earlier. or like 3 months later, or like 3 months before. And what makes it even worse is you're not even playing as the same character. Again, Abby, I knew she was going to be it. Bro, she is a huge focus in this game. So what makes it even worse with the flashbacks is not only are you going back in time after just seeing a huge point in the game, you're going back in time but playing with a completely different character. With completely different groups. So then when that happens and you have to play 5 to 6 to 8 hours with a new character, then they go back to the present day of where that cutscene that you was looking at left off. You're like, wait, how did we get here? You're literally thinking, wait, what happened in this cutscene? Right, all right. And then it's just like, bro, they just won't, for some reason. I don't know whose idea was this. They like refuse to let a scene play out. They literally refuse. Like, they're like, no, we have to do a flashback. They have so many flashbacks in this game. And again, I don't have a problem with flashbacks. It's the way that you do them. And the way that they was doing it so often in this game, so frequently, on like huge moments in the game, it messes with like the flow of the story. Period. And when I was complaining about that, some people was trying to defend the flashbacks, like, oh, well, this is how, they have to tell the story because they're playing with, different characters. I'm like, suck it. What are you talking about? What are you talking? Bro, the flashbacks, period, mess with the flow of this story. That junk was just infuriating after a while. Infuriating. Because it happens so often. And again, it's not even the fact that I didn't like Abby. After a while, I started to like Abby. Abby, to me, is not the problem of this game. Some people make it seem that, she's the problem, and it's this whole SJW agenda, and, strong women. Strong woman. Now, don't get it twisted. Abby is a strong bro. I don't know if Laura Bailey has this fetish of playing with strong female of being the voice actor of strong female characters. But first we had Nadine, now we have Abby. Literally, Abby was like, bro, literally, when you're playing with her, she literally rock bottoms people. She literally rock bottoms grown ass men onto the floor and just I'm like, bro, what the? And I don't have a problem. You know how some other gamers out there bro, I don't like playing as no freaking masculine female. It's not like that for me. Well. Jesus! This chick Abby, she literally just rock bottomed this dude. Oh my god! It's cliffhanger flashbacks, which are the worst. It's like going. Bro, I cannot stress enough how much I thought that messed with the flow of this story. I don't know whose idea was that. We all know that Neil gets the final say with this stuff. He is the game director. I don't know how they thought that was the best way to tell this story. I just don't know how. Because this story is not bad. This is not a bad story. It's the way they tell the story. It's the way this story is put together. Flashbacks on top of flashbacks. Playing with one character, then playing with another character. Being in a huge moment with one character, then going 4 years before 4 years before that character is even in the position they're in now, trying to see their backstory of how they used to be. It's the way that this story is told. The story isn't even bad. It's the way... This is why I was so frustrated. It's the way this story is molded that is so infuriating. And the way they, again, no spoilers, but I do not like the way that, you know, Joel was being treated in this game. I don't like the light that they was... I don't like how they was making Joel appear like in this game. I can't say too much, but that towards the end, that actually like made me like tear up. I'm like, bro, I do not like the way like they're painting Joel to look like this freaking monster. Here's another thing. People are saying, well, Joel is the bad guy. Joel is the bad sucker. Who? There are no good guys in this world. This is Last of Us. Name me one peer group that is still alive in Last of Us. There are no good people in this world. So people that say Joel is a monster, what is everyone else? You ain't still alive in this world if you haven't done bad things. And I don't even really consider what Joel did in part 1 a bad thing. He lost his daughter. Then Ellie got put by his side, and for a while he was like, I don't care about taking care of this. I don't want to take care of this little shit. Remember, he didn't even want to, do this thing that Tess wanted him to do. He was like, I don't want to deal with this joke. But then after a while, Ellie started to grow on him, and he started looking at Ellie in a different light. Almost in a way like this is a second chance at redemption of protecting someone that, I care for, and, kind of a second daughter in a way. That's how he started to look at Ellie. Because he couldn't protect Sarah, he started to look at Ellie in that light, like, okay, this is my second chance at, protecting something I really care about. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to do it. That makes him a bad guy. I hate when people paint Joel as this monster, because it's not true. If you suckers really understood what's going on in this game, nobody is a good person in this game. Nobody. So stop it. Anyways, though, y'all, I'm getting passionate in this. But so yeah. The way they told the story was infuriating. It hands down messes with the pacing of this story. And last but not least, did I talk about everything? Yeah, it drags. I think by the time I beat this game, I was like, 27 hours and maybe 20 minutes in? This game felt like 40 hours, dog. I never, in the history of Naughty Dogdom, in the history of Naughty Dogdom, I have never, literally been trying to force myself to complete a game from Naughty Dog. Normally when it comes from a game from these suckers, I'm like, bro, I don't want this junk to end. Like, oh my God, I'm playing it just like waiting for the next thing. When I was getting towards the end of this game, I'm like, bro, just end this junk. End it! Why are we still... Why are we still going? Why? This game felt like 40 plus hours, dog. And when I beat it, it was 20. It felt like Days Gone. When I was trying to hurry up and beat Days Gone to do my review, that's how this game felt. And I'm like, how is this Last of Us 2, one of the games I've been waiting for 7 years? How am I feeling like this towards this game? It's because the constant back and forth that they're putting you through with these different characters, with these different groups, the constant flashbacks, just the things that's going on in the story. And it's just like, this game is so draining. Not in a good way, neither. This game is so draining that by the time you like are near the end, it's like, bro, just finish. Just finish this game, dog, please. My chat thought that joke was so funny when I was like near the end, and like I thought, you know, like that was the end of the game, and then like they go to a different scene, and it's like, nope, wait, there's more, and I'm just like, oh my god, this game was literally draining me, and not in a good way. If that's what they were aiming to do in this game, to be a mentally taxing and draining experience, then I guess they did succeed. But I was literally like almost forcing myself to get through the rest of this game. And it has never in the history of Naughty Dogdom been like that from a game that I'm playing from this developer. Ever. And then when you like really are, when you do get to the end, there's, again, I can't really, you know, I don't want to say too much, but there were some things in this game that was happening, and I'm like, this doesn't even hold no weight to me now. Like now, it's just like, bro, this meant something before. Now it's just like, what is the purpose of this whole scene, of this whole scenario right now? What is the purpose? There is none. And, you know, I think that's what they were kind of trying to say towards the end. Like, it's pointless to keep on doing this, but just the way they did it, I was like, bro, what? I don't even want to play this right now. It was like that for me. You know, so saying all that, there are things that I loved about this game. Loved. Again, the gameplay, my freaking god, carries this game. The infected, the new infected, the OST, the way the world is opened up, has different groups and stuff like that. Gameplay mechanics, whatever. I loved about this game. Loved it. This is one of the most, probably top 2 best looking games on PS4. Top 3 easily. This game was really good in all those aspects. But the second half of this game is when I started to kind of turn. And the second half is like, what? I feel like the second half is longer than the first half. Well, it's probably the same. It's like maybe like 14 hours, but when the second half comes, that's when I was like, okay, I get it. I get what some people are saying. But that doesn't mean that this game is bad. This game is a good game. Because I've seen people, there's like fans starting a petition for Naughty Dog to remake Last of Us 2. I don't think it's nowhere like near that level of bad. Just the way things, the way how some things go down, it's just, draining. But yeah, this is not a bad game. But this is a game that, and I said this after I beat this game, I cannot do another playthrough of this game just like that. Like it's that draining to me. Like how I played The Last of Us 1 story, like over, I probably beat The Last of Us 1 story at least 20 plus times. I cannot play through the story right now again. I can't. I can't. And it's crazy because the gameplay is so good. But after a while, this story just seems like it drags on for so long, and just the constant back and forth and flashbacks. This game, I've never felt so drained playing a game before. Ever. Like, I'm literally shaking right now. I'm literally shaking. Like, I literally can't even. I cannot do another playthrough of this game right now. I can't. So, saying all that, is Last of Us 2 worth the purchase if you were a fan of the first one? Absolutely. Yes. Off the gameplay and graphics alone, it's worth the purchase. Again, the graphics and gameplay cannot be denied. Off that alone, it's a purchase. Story-wise, I don't know. But you have to make that decision for yourself. Don't let what other people are saying dictate, oh, then I ain't getting the game. If you want to play this game, play it. It's that simple. It's that simple. Play it. Especially if you was a fan of the first one. You might, because again, some of my viewers was like, bro, I really enjoyed this story. 10 out of 10. Masterpiece. I'm like, okay, cool. For me, and I was bouncing back and forth, bro, what score will I get? People was asking me my score once I beat the game. I'm like, nigga, I don't know. I don't know what score would get this junk. I've thought long and hard about this junk the past, 2-3 days? I'm giving Last of Us Part 2 an 8.5 out of 10. And that's not a bad score. Again, the times we live in, especially with a highly anticipated game, that's looked at as a flop for some reason. But it's not. That's an 85 out of 100, my brothers and sisters. That's not a bad score, okay? So stop it. But yeah, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah. There are some things that I love about this game. Again, I can't stress enough. Graphics, gameplay, the characters were good. You know, even the most hated character, I actually enjoyed her. You know? But that second half, dog. The second half for this game mostly does so much damage to just like the flow of the story and just the events and how they happen. And there were some lit moments of the second half. Like, it's not like the second half is trash. The gameplay throughout the entirety of this game is lit. Like, they pay tribute to certain sections that was in part 1 in this game, and they do it better. So it's not like the game just falls off like completely in the second half of this game. It doesn't. It's just the story. The way that they tell the story. It messes with the game, dog. And again, maybe because, all the stress and the, employees being, in crunch hours, they was really just trying to put together this thing. I don't know what went wrong. But there was no way someone that worked on the first Last of Us could see how the story in this game was playing out and said, yeah, let's do it like this. There's no way. I don't know what happened, but Neil does have the final word. And the fact that he said, yeah, let's do it like this, that's why suckers hate Neil. That's why suckers can't stand Neil Druckmann's guts right now. And again, there's no denying Neil Druckmann is a talented dude. He's talented, but that's why people are hating on him right now. Cause again, that's just the way they tell this story. It's just mentally exhausting. So yeah, I literally feel exhausted after this review. But that's my review of Last of Us Part 2. That's how I feel. I do not regret buying this game at all. I need a break from Last of Us. I'm tired of hearing about this game. I'm tired of hearing people debate this game. I'm probably going to talk about this game one more time, and it probably is going to be in my Patreon/YouTube podcast that I do now on the. I won't even call it a podcast really, but little live stream that I do on YouTube. After that, and we all talk about our thoughts on this game and stuff like that, and get out our things. After that, I'm probably done talking. I don't want to talk about this game no more unless it comes to that Factions Part 2, because the way the gameplay is in this game, could you imagine Factions Part 2 and Last of Us Part 2 with these gameplay mechanics? When that day comes, then I'll start talking about this game again. Okay? Outside of that, I hope you guys enjoyed my review. And yeah, man, Last of Us Part 2. What did you guys think about it? Was it worth the 60 bones to you? What score would you give it? How was your experience after playing this game? Let me know all that and more down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, my brothers and sisters. I'll catch y'all boys in my next one, alright?